Basically, it's like design outdoor, design the landscape to make it to make people feel more comfortable.
I think they are responsible for designing outdoor environments, like landscaping, gardening, building stuff.
Landscape architecture is actually to plan the landscape of the city, like what kind of building should be here or there, and it's like the development of the city now.
Or you have to plan for the development of a specific area. It's more like a big area rather than a very specific something like housing area. But you have to plan for like urban planning. I think that should be the correct way.
I think that landscape architect deals with more of the outdoor planning instead of the indoor as compared to a normal architect would do. So for example, the outside the park, gardens, everything has to do with an landscape architect's work.
I think landscape architecture is a very important architecture, and they need to master urban planning, and all of this is because of landscape architecture.
So what makes landscape architecture so special?
Landscape architecture, otherwise known as LARCH, combines art, nature, and design to create spaces for people to live in, recreate in, and just enjoy in general.
Landscape architecture has been around for centuries. It has always been a staple of intelligence in societies. It just hasn't always been called landscape architecture. So, where did it get its name?
The term landscape architecture was actually created by Gilbert Mahizzan in his book on the landscape architecture of the great painters of Italy in 1828. Despite a poor reaction from the general public, the book inspired horticulturist John Claudius Loudon to adopt the term, due to him believing that it justly described the relationship between nature and design. Eventually, one of Loudon's American admirers, Andrew Jackson Downey, started using the term. He then passed it on to his colleague Frederick Law Olmsted. You might have heard of this guy already, as he designed the Central Park and many other places.
Every job is different, and the landscape architect has to be able to adapt to any situation. A landscape architect must not only be smart, but sociable as well. Projects are almost always worked on as groups, and of course, there is the aspect of client interaction. Whether or not the client is easy to work with, the landscape architect must work with them to get the job done, whether it is a small single backyard or a sprawling urban plaza.
As for education, landscape architect must be accepted into a bachelor's degree program to obtain a license. Many long nights were spent working in the studio on projects. They will also learn how to use software, things like Adobe program and rendering software such as AutoCAD.
In conclusion, landscape architecture is a beautiful mix of both nature and design that will continue to shape the future for centuries to come.
Hey, stop! What do you think about
Wait, what you want to ask me?
landscape architect?
I don't know what is it. I Google search first, wait.
Okay.